Hey everybody, I'm Clifford Stemmy, the Pop Song Professor, and welcome to my channel where we make song lyrics explained. Today we're talking about Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo, and I'm a couple weeks late in explaining this one, but this song has swept the world by storm, particularly through TikTok, and one of the big questions people have asked is, what is this song about? Who is this song about? And even though we do not condone gossip and celebrity news on this channel, we're gonna get into some of the details here. So a little bit of the background here. Olivia Rodrigo is, at the time of releasing that song, 17. She had gotten her driver's license like 6 months before, and she was in a relationship with this guy whose name is Josh Bassett, because they were both on the same like Disney TV show together. I don't want you to write her off because of that. Another one of these Disney young youth stars who start doing Disney shows and then they start making music and away they go into a music career into the sunset. I think Olivia is more than that. I think she's got some deep stuff, and there's definitely, a lot of people have said this, so it's not original, but a lot of people are comparing her to Taylor Swift in her songwriting style, including the way that she infuses her own life stories and actual details from those stories into the songs she writes. Like, she seems to follow the same Taylor Swift philosophy that the more personal and the more real, the better. Of course, I've only heard one song from her, so we'll have to see how that goes. But let's go ahead and jump into verse 1 here. I got my driver's license last week, just like we always talked about, because you were so excited for me to finally drive up to your house, but today I drove through the suburbs crying because you weren't around. Essentially, she and this guy, they have this teenage love going on, and they talk about how when we have a driver's license we can go places and do things together. And she got her driver's license, but she had already broken up with the guy, but they talked so much about it that it felt like this big moment. And so when she has her driver's license, she's gotten broken up with, or however that went down, and now she just drives around by herself feeling sad. And particularly in the suburbs, it's slow and it is, you know, not like the highway would be too exciting. The suburbs are slow enough to be sad. Then we get to verse 2, and this is where it starts to feel a little bit real. Remember, she was dating Joshua Bassett, and she says in an explanation to Entertainment Tonight or ET Canada, when I came up with driver's license, I was going through a heartbreak that was so confusing to me. She wrote it over the summer, which is about the time that she broke up with Josh Bassett, so it's, you know, if not about him, at least inspired by the experience with him. Then we get into verse 2, and she sings, and you're probably with that blonde girl who always made me doubt. She's so much older than me. She's everything I'm insecure about. Yet today I drove through the suburbs because how could I ever love someone else? Which, very dramatic for a teenager. She'll grow and learn from the experience and heal, and she will learn to love again. But here's the thing. And this is where we get into some celebrity gossip. Basically, Josh Bassett, this kid, broke up with Olivia and is now dating Sabrina Carpenter, who happens to be blonde and who also happens to be 4 years older than Olivia Rodrigo. But it doesn't end there, because, you know, Olivia Rodrigo released a song early in January, and then like 3 weeks later, Sabrina Carpenter released a song called Skin, where she sings in the first verse, maybe we could have been friends if I met you in another life. Maybe then we could pretend there's no gravity in the words we write, implying that the person she's talking to is writing something intense. Maybe you didn't mean it. Maybe blonde was the only rhyme. So it feels like she's saying, like, yeah, get over yourself here a little bit. So it's a 21-year-old firing back at this heartbroken, dramatic 17-year-old, which feels a little bit, I don't know if it's nasty, but at least muddled. And she says to this, you know, this song is not necessarily about other people, even though parts of it might have been about other people. The rest of the song is like me writing to myself in some way. And so she leaves it wide open for that line to have been about Olivia Rodrigo, which I think for most people confirms that the Olivia Rodrigo line, along with all the other proof, was about Sabrina Carpenter, who is actually a great songwriter herself. Then we go into the chorus, and I know we weren't perfect, but I ever felt this way for no one, and I just can't imagine how you could be so okay now that I'm gone. Guess you didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me. Josh Bassett wrote a song that was released like a week after Olivia had released her song, but he had written it a long time ago, and so a lot of people theorized that song was the song that she's referring to here. Because you said forever, now I drive alone past your street, which is like this heartbreaking, just gut-wrenching line. It's really well put together. This whole song is just very well written. It's pretty direct what a lot of it means, apart from the who's it about, what's going on in the background here, but it's very well written. And all my friends are tired of hearing how much I miss you, but I kind of feel sorry for them because they'll never know you the way that I do. Today I drove through the suburbs and pictured I was driving home to you. So she's thinking about living together or marriage or moving in together, that kind of stuff. And then we come up with some interesting imagery in the bridge. Red lights, stop signs, the sign of something ending, the break to something, the stop. I still see your face in the white cars' front yards. Can't drive past the places we used to go to because I still fucking love you, babe. Sidewalks we crossed, I still hear your voice in the traffic. We're laughing over all the noise. God, I'm so blue. No, we're through, but I still fucking love you, babe. And it's interesting because she's coming out of this Disney career development machine where it's all family, kid friendly. And here in the bridge, which is the place in the song where you're supposed to just do things differently, she talks about the end itself. She brings in this new image of the stop sign and she just lets it rip with the cussing. It's like the verses and the choruses are this picture of teenage heartbreak, and then the bridge is her starting to transition into adulthood, become more serious about things, realizing the finality, the end, the death of something, if you will, something we all get closer to as we get older, and trying to reconcile with it and saying, I'm an adult, but I'm still stuck in this teenage relationship. I'm an adult, I'm still stuck in this teenage relationship. And what do you do if you're caught between those two extremes? I want something I can't have, but I still want it. I can't have it, but I want it. And that's what she's grappling with here. It's this very like deep personal struggle that she puts into words so magnificently, especially with just the imagery of the driving and the stop sign and everything. And what's cool about this too is that it's going to just do well with her demographic, because not only do young people such as many of yourselves feel these kinds of feelings intensely, even though, you know, a lot of adults do too, it's just they might have had that happen to them before, so they might be better able to moderate their own feelings, not all of them. But she's also talking about driving and getting a driver's license, which is something that other people will be able to understand at that age range as well, because that's something that they're probably trying to get simultaneously. And she ends on that one completely heartbreaking line, yeah, you said forever, now I drive alone past your street. And that is where she's at. It's this dissonance, this paradox of what you said would be, but what is. And that is probably the mystery of growing up, is being able to reconcile things that don't make sense and seem to contradict each other. If you could do that perfectly all the time, you wouldn't be human, but you would definitely be very mature, or at least very sad. Maybe those two kind of go together sometimes, or a lot of the time. Oh boy, sorry, I'm not trying to make this depressing for you guys. There's so much more to look forward to. You get to buy your own groceries. Okay, that's not good. No, seriously, on a personal note, I would not trade being an adult for being a teenager or a kid again. I love being an adult. But that's beside the point. Just want to say real quick, guys, if you haven't checked out my Obsessed podcast, link is in the description. I investigate hobbies and lifestyles that inspire obsession, and I interview people and I try that out for myself. I'm currently just obsessed with Rubik's Cubes right now, and that's going to be the next episode. But we have an episode about Taylor Swift, we have an episode about true crime, rapping, where I write a rap, all sorts of cool stuff. There's also a link to a Google form where you can submit song explanations and theories for songs yourself that I might use in a future video, which I will attribute to you if I use your theory. So thanks for watching, and comment below a song you'd like me to explain next. Talk to you later.